Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of How I Built It. Dejan Markovic and Tina Todorovic are two halves of the social web suite dream team. They are some of the hardest working, passionate folks I know in the WordPress community, and an absolute joy to talk to. I love their tool, and I'm excited to dive into how it works and how they built it. We'll get to all of that and more, but first, a word from our sponsors. This season of How I Built It is brought to you by two fantastic sponsors. The first is Liquid Web. If you're running a membership site, an online course, or even a real estate site on WordPress, you've likely already discovered many hosts that have optimized their platforms for a logged out experience, where they cache everything. Sites on their hardware are great for your sales and landing pages, but struggle when your users start logging in. At that point, your site is as slow as if you were on $3 hosting. Liquid Web built their managed WordPress platform optimized for sites that want speed and performance, regardless of whether a customer is logged in or logged out. Trust me on this, I've tried it out and it's fast. Seriously fast. Now, with their single site plan, Liquid Web is a no-brainer for anyone whose site is actually part of their business and not just a site promoting their business. Check out the rest of the features on their platform by visiting them at buildpodcast.net/liquidweb. That's buildpodcast.net/liquidweb. It's also brought to you by Jilt. Jilt is the easiest way to recover abandoned shopping carts on WooCommerce, Easy Digital Downloads, and Shopify. Your e-commerce clients could be leaving literally thousands of dollars on the table, and here's why. 70% of all shopping carts are abandoned prior to checkout. Yes, you heard that right. 70% of shoppers never make it to checkout. And that's why you need to introduce your clients to Jilt. Jilt uses proven recovery tactics to rescue that lost revenue. It's an easy win that lets you boost your client's revenue by as much as 15%, and it only takes 15 minutes of your time to set up. Jilt fully integrates with WooCommerce, EDD, and Shopify, and you can completely customize the recovery emails that Jilt sends to match your client's branding using its powerful drag-and-drop editor, or by digging into the HTML and CSS. Even better, Jilt's fair pricing means your clients pay only for the customers they actually engage, and you get to earn a cut of that through Jilt's partner program. Whether you have clients that process 1 sale per month or 10,000 sales per month, be the hero and help them supercharge their revenue with Jilt. Check them out at buildpodcast.net/Jilt. That's buildpodcast.net/JILT. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of How I Built It, the podcast that asks, how did you build that? Today, my guests are the fine people from Social Web Suite, Dejan Markovic and Tina Todorovic. Was that good?
Yes.
Awesome.
Thanks for correctly pronouncing our names.
No problem. It's something that I strive to do when I taught in the classroom. I didn't have the opportunity to ask my students how to pronounce their names beforehand. So It's nice that I can do that here. So I met Dejan and Tina at WordCamp US last year, right? 2016?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yeah, and so we started talking about your product, now called Social Web Suite. It was called something else back then, though, I believe, right? It was called...
Integra.social.
Oh, that's right. Yes. So we had a great conversation. You guys sponsored the show early on, which was very generous, and I was very excited for that. And I'm very excited to have you guys on the show. So why don't we just kind of start off with who you are and what your product does and how you came up with the idea?
Okay, so my name is Dejan Markovic, and me and Tina, we are living in Toronto, Canada, and we're involved for a few years in a WordPress community, and that's how everything started. Like I visited WordCamp Toronto and I fell in love with the community and everything. And then I got more involved. First, I was contributor to one plugin. Then also I became like organizer of WordCamp Toronto for couple of years, and then I was lead organizer and all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Yes, and at the same time, because our plugins, there were, one plugin that I was contributing, it was like posting to Twitter, and another plugin was posting to Buffer. So from that, we got idea for something even better than those plugins and platforms, and we came up with the Social Web Suite. And Social Web Suite is a platform that should help users, save time and concentrate on their content or on their business, while Social Web Suite will automatically post or scheduling the posts from their sites. And since we are deeply involved with WordPress community, we have a very deep integration with WordPress. And that's it for me.
So basically, we are partners in life and business.
Nice.
I guess how that works will be another podcast episode that we can talk about. Because I have been asked that on every single event that we go to.
Yeah. That's really interesting, right? I've talked to Justin Ferriman. He works with his wife as well, and I believe they have separate offices in their house to kind of have that work life separation. So that is very interesting, right? My wife has no idea what I do. I have no idea what she does. We talk to each other about it, but we have just a very vague understanding of what each of us does, because we don't work together. So I'm sure that's a very interesting dynamic for you guys.
Yes,
it is actually. The good thing is, and there are obviously the good and bad things as in life, obviously, but the great thing is that we actually because we have been together for 10 years, we already know what each other thinks before we actually speak. Which is a really good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in business, you don't need to you can just look at each other and we already know. So that's a good thing. It cuts miscommunication a lot.
Yeah.
The other thing is maybe there is too much intimacy involved. We are too much intimate, so we tell each other things that maybe in a work environment are not really good. Or maybe if Dejan is upset at me, he is more upset than me than it should be on every I don't know, workmate,
Yeah.
So those are or me as well on him. But those are some hiccups. But so far, I think it's working really good. And I think it's working good for us because we are a different side of the business. He's a developer and I'm a business person. And I think that's maybe working better. Because you have two different, completely different views, as well as my view is more I am more interested in user-friendly products and everything. But at the same time, Dejan is concerned about the back-end compatibility and that everything is secure and the development stuff. So I think that works well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys are kind of different but complementary, right?
Yes.
I guess, yeah.
I mean,
yes.
finding a good business partner that complements you is a lot of the battle in starting your own business, especially if you're doing more than just a solo gig.
Yeah.
So, the fact that you guys are partners in both life and work made that hunt probably a little bit easier. And while it has its challenges, like everything does, it sounds like you guys are doing pretty well. So that's fantastic. What a great way to open the show. I did not think we would open the show that way.
Yeah.
I'm really glad we did. And so that actually clears things up for me because I know Dejan is a developer. Tina, I wasn't sure what your expertise was. So maybe you guys can talk a little about, you had a couple of plugins on the repo that seems like a precursor to Social Web Suite. So when you decided to kind of combine into one service, what did the research look like for that from both the development side and from the business side?
Oh, okay. So basically, yeah, as they mentioned, we had a few plugins and we were receiving actually daily feedback from our users, asking us to build some features. I'm guessing all the plugin developers, receive that from time to time. But this was like really more like building features from the application point of view. So we couldn't build any more features in the plugins. First of all, we don't want to put everything in the plugin and slow down the site and affect performance and security issues and those types of things. So we were trying to find like a fine balance between making our users happy at the same time and then making everything else working. So the other thing is because we had an agency as well, so we had a lot of clients that needed help with the social media as well. So they were asking us to build something like some custom platform or something for them as well. So we had and then we sat and thought about it, and we came with an idea. Afterwards, we actually talked beside our users' feedback and research with our clients and users, we actually talked with Chris Lema, you know that, and you, and Sean Haskett, and a bunch of other our friends from social media world as well. So we can combine everything. And that's how we came up with the social web suite, pretty much.
Yes.
Nice. That's fantastic. So, Dejan, I want to get your side of it too, but it sounds like you guys got user feedback, which is always important. You were scratching your own itch, right? Which is something that comes up on this show a lot. And then you put together just the greatest mastermind. You talked to Chris Lema and Sean Hesketh. Both of them have been on the show, and their advice to me has always been invaluable, right? It's been incredible kind of business changing advice. So you guys definitely talked to the right people there.
We were following the community, and Chris Lema is a leader in some way there, especially for the business companies and WordPress business and that kind of stuff. And Sean Heskett, his design view and now even marketing view is helping us a lot. We just had a meeting with him yesterday
actually, yeah.
about our new site, and he gave us the feedback, which is amazing, great. I don't know what is the good words for that. And we are so happy and at the same time blessed to have opportunity to work with those guys. So now even after every meeting with them, we are happier and happier, and we know that how we can improve our product and how our product is already good, although we are now in beta, but we are coming from beta in maybe 2 weeks.
Nice. That's so by the time this show comes out, you guys will be definitely in beta, perhaps fully launched. And so, I mean, let's just jump right into it. You guys do you still do agency work? I guess we'll have a precursor to this question. Do you still do agency work?
I do consulting.
Okay, cool. Because I know you guys have been working on the product for quite a while at this point. We're recording just shortly before WordCamp US 2017. So we met about a year ago. And so how did you build Social Web Suite? Dejan, were you the main developer on it? Did you hire other people? How did you divvy up tasks, things like that?
So because when we did agency work, we were working with some people too, and I did also development. And then when me and Tina got idea for that, I was also consulting other people and my friends who are developers, and I'm also developer. And then we decided, for example, to use Laravel and for a control panel. And then we hired the guys who were with us during the agency work. So now they are working with us as full-time employees. Unfortunately, I don't do development, but I'm very much involved in architecture. And me and Tina is even running stand-ups every day, every weekday. She now also became technical, and she does QA too.
But don't ask me technical questions, please. Don't get there.
That's great. So you have essentially a team of developers working on the product for you. You built it on Laravel, which is, you are the second person that I've talked to today that mentioned they built their product on Laravel. It was a WordPress-centric product, but they built the non-WordPress area in Laravel, which is really cool. I guess it's something I'm definitely going to have to look into now. And you decided on Laravel So why did you decide on Laravel, I guess?
So we were analyzing all frameworks in PHP because I'm pretty good in PHP. I know also .NET. I also did some work in .NET, but I'm more familiar with PHP. And then we were analyzing all those frameworks. And then we found out about Laravel Spark. That's the actually platform that we are using. And the good thing about Spark is like it has some stuff that is integrated. For example, Stripe payments and that kind of stuff, which we are working on that right now. So, and that was the decision, for us. And of course, we read the reviews. We were talking to a lot of people about, which platform to use. And, Laravel is a top-notch platform in PHP. And
as well as there is a lot of community out there using it. So if, I don't know, we got stuck somewhere or we want to implement something, we can always ask around, and
forums,
people are,
groups.
So that's also a great thing about it.
It's a great platform. It's really now top platform.
Man, that's fantastic. I mean, you guys have definitely sold me on it. I've heard it, I've heard it here and there. I follow Jeffrey Way, who does the Laracasts, right? But I never really looked into it because I was always deeply in the WordPress space. But expanding your skill set, especially if you're familiar with PHP, is very, very important. That's awesome. So that's a little bit on the development side. Tina, it was mentioned that you run the stand-ups and do QA. From building the product, from that standpoint, what are the stand-ups like, and managing a bunch of developers? How do you run those?
Well, I run so sometimes I run the stand-ups alone, or sometimes we run it together. It depends, if the developers obviously have some technical questions that I cannot really answer. So I'm more from a user point of view and the project manager, but I try not to nag too much. Because the most hateful question that you can ask the developer is, okay, when that will be done, when that will be finished. So yeah, they already know that I'm trying to be nice to them, but at the same time I have to know the deadlines. I have to know the roadmaps, because we are trying to align our marketing around it as well. So the stand-ups daily are usually between, 15 minutes and half an hour. It depends, really. We are just exchanging ideas, they're just telling me what did they do, if we need to do something. I like the stand-ups is because they're much better than, you can better communicate than if you just write emails or something like that, first of all. And then second of all, I love our developers to be involved in our platform. So we always encourage them to give us their ideas, opinions, and thoughts.
Nice. And this is, so are you working with a remote team, or is everybody local to Toronto?
No, team is remote. Only me and Tina, we are local. And we have front-end guy in Europe and two back-end guys also in Europe. And so we have stand-up every morning. We follow agile style of managing and that kind of stuff, but we are not too strict. So for example, for each feature or each big feature, for example, now big feature is payments implementation. And so we have a ticket, and then we create the checklists there. And then each morning we go through the checklist and see how it's going. Do they have any problems? How we can help, and that kind of stuff. And but as Tina said, we are really open. We share everything with them, with the dev team, and we love their feedback. So, for example, sometimes they are giving us feedback regarding design and UI, although they are not designers, but they are talented people.
Nice.
And I think that's really important, we are treating this as a family, so and we told them from the start, this is going to be family thing, and from the first day until now everything is like that.
Nice. That's fantastic. So you have a remote team, and so I think Tina mentioned this before, it's a little bit easier to hash things out face to face than via email or something like that, right? That's getting that FaceTime is really important. So
yes, we use Trello and Slack and all that kind of stuff during the day, but we have a stand-up each morning.
That's excellent. So awesome. So it sounds like your process is pretty great. You have bigger tasks. You break them up into smaller tasks. You're using Laravel and then, of course, the WordPress for the plugin and things like that. What kind of transformations has your product gone through? Let's say in the last year, right? Since kind of when we first met, what are the kind of the biggest transformations?
Well, I think that the first one actually was the one that you actually mentioned, the name, the brand and naming. And that was, well, we just like the name Integra because it's like integrates with all the different, social networks and those types of things. But then after talking to our friend here who sold his software company, and then after talking to Chris Lema, and after researching, we figured out that it is too generic. So we wanted to change the name and branding to something that it's not that generic, that it's like more us. Mm-hmm. And that was actually I think the biggest change at the beginning. Now, there are like a lot of changes that we are doing. You know how it is in a development, basically. Yeah. You make a lot of changes all the time, right?
And we also make changes based on the feedback from
on all the
people
feedbacks, yes,
that we get.
Yeah,
so, for example, we got amazing feedback from some company from India, and they have a huge news site. And they post about 400 posts per day, and they have 120 or 150,000 posts on their site. So it's huge site, and so we actually tested and implemented the changes in our plugin so it can handle that big site. So now we are enterprise ready.
Nice, that's awesome.
Yes,
very cool. So again, it sounds like user feedback, beta testing, and things like that are super integral to your process, which is very refreshing to hear, right? There are certain philosophies where it's like you just say no, because you know what's best for your product. But I mean, your users are what's driving it, and it's very important to listen to them. So I love hearing that. So it is November 2017 as we record this. What are your plans for, let's say, launch and the future? What does the future hold for Social Web Suite?
Well, we will continue building the features and integrations and everything based on our users' feedback. As you said, we are completely user-oriented. And that's why we actually build the platform and everything, because we want to help other people and users. So
our users are our heroes.
Our users are heroes, yeah.
That is the pull quote of the century. That's definitely what I'm using.
So we already have a lot of basically features that our users are asking us to do. Obviously, unfortunately, we cannot we don't have time to implement all of them at the same time. Yeah. but I have a Trello card, a Trello board, actually, especially just for the features. And we have a roadmap for day 2, day 3, and those types of things. So it depends, obviously depends. If several people ask us for the same feature and it aligns with our roadmap, obviously we're going to build that first and then some other features maybe later in the long run. But that's pretty much our future. For the launch, we are hoping that we are going to fully launch it before the WordCamp US, but we will be ready for the WordCamp US for special deals as well as my birthday.
Nice. Very nice. So is your birthday over WordCamp US? Will you be at WordCamp US?
Well, a little bit before, on the 29th of November.
Nice.
So we are deciding now maybe to take a week off or something. Yes. So to celebrate in Nashville, we'll see.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, I'll have to buy you a birthday drink because here's a fun story for the listeners. All three of us were at Cabo Press, a business conference in Cabo held by Chris Lema. I was there for my birthday. And so right when it struck midnight, Tina and Dejan and a few other people there sang happy birthday to me at midnight. It was very special. I really appreciated that. So I will be sure to repay the favor to you in Nashville.
You're very welcome. It was special for us, to hang out with you.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was amazing.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we are coming up on time. I can't believe how fast this interview has gone. But I do want to ask you my favorite question, and both of you can give your separate answers if you'd like. Do you have any trade secrets for us?
Okay, so for us, trade secret is actually networking.
Nice.
Both me and Tina, we were really shy. I don't know if you can believe right now on this. Because now when we talk to people, they say like, "Oh my God, yeah, they cannot imagine us." But we're really shy, and then everything started with, I think, our involvement with community. I was involved before in WordPress, but not with community. I started in 2013, WordCamp Toronto. And then after Toronto, we said like, oh, this was amazing. Let's see Montreal. And then we went to Montreal because Montreal is like 5-6 hours from Toronto. And then we started, like visiting other cities and other conferences and WordCamp US, the first one, second one. And nice. For us, like this is the, I don't know if it can be trade secret, but, like, we love to go out. We love to hang out with people. We like to network, and like that's it.
Nice. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to go, as well as maybe you already have if you already have users, obviously, and if they ask you some questions over the email, like I tend to go to like meaningful conversations with my users as well. So not just replying to them, okay, you can do this, this, and this, or you can do this, or like, this is how you fix it. And like, I don't know, some people do the support tickets like that. I actually like to talk to them a little bit more because you can find a lot of things about your users that way. And they are more open to talk to you about like why they are using your product, which is really important for you afterwards, right? And to give you some feedback about the features and those types of things. So maybe that will be a little bit of trade secret, like try to listen to your users and like talk to them and get personal with them, not just I don't know, automatically replying to them. That's maybe
nice.
Secret.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I love that. I mean, you forge a deeper connection that way, right? When your users feel like there's somebody on the other side of the screen. So that's excellent advice that everybody should really heed. So awesome. Well, so we are at time. Where can people find you guys?
socialwebsuite.com and at Social Web Suite also at Twitter and Facebook. And Tina?
And or you can find us like Dejan Markovic or Tina Todorovic on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Yes. You can always send us
and on email. Many WordCamps there that are close to Canada.
Next one is WordCamp US.
Yes. But usually, we visit, local WordCamps. Of course, in Montreal, Toronto. Sometimes we go to Boston. We went to Chicago, Minneapolis. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. You guys are making the rounds, doing the networking, as you said earlier. So awesome. I will link all of that stuff in the show notes. Dejan and Tina, thank you so much for your time and coming on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the invitation. So much, We had a great pleasure again.
Hang out with you, yes. And for your feedback as well for our platform.
Fantastic. Thanks again to Dejan and Tina for joining me. Be sure to check out Social Web Suite. There's a link in the show notes as well as a link to a video that tours the whole platform. I love it and I use it. And thanks again to our sponsors. Make sure to check out Liquid Web for managed WordPress hosting. You've heard me say this time and time again during the season, but I use them on all of my important sites. They are that good. You can find them over at buildpodcast.net/liquid, and they'll give you 50% off your first 2 months just for being a listener. If you want to save your clients or yourself money through recovered abandoned carts, check out Jilt. Jilt is a product that will definitely bring back some income for you from people who have decided not to pull the trigger right before they make the purchase on your site. So check them out. They're over at buildpodcast.net/Jilt. For all of the show notes, head over to howibuilt.it/75. If you like the show, head over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review. And if you want to support the show on an individual basis, check out Patreon. At patreon.com/howibuiltit, you can support the show for as little as $1 a month. And until next time, get out there and build something.